Halo, selamat malam teman-teman yang sudah bergabung di YouTube channel Ellen Patricia. Hari ini kita akan mengadakan live talk dengan topik self leadership, ya, self leadership from surface to depth. Dan kita rencananya akan ada Stephen Farber together with us. Sudah bergabung. Forgot to do this one karena saya selalu monitor HP, jadi HP-nya lupa. Anyhow. Hopefully, we are going to start soon. I'm still waiting for Steven. He's supposed to be joining us to have the conversation about self-leadership, and hopefully everything goes well because somehow, for some reasons, I haven't really heard from him and just want to make sure that everything is okay. But no matter what, we're going to have this conversation. So again, for everyone who has been in this channel, who has arrived on this channel, welcome. Then it's just so good to have you. Always so good to have you. And if you're already here, feel free to say hi in the comment box so that I can acknowledge your presence. Hey, selamat malam Bu Swamaya, welcome. And as usual, teman-teman, if in the conversation that is going forward, you have any questions, feel free to just put it in the comment box. Karena saya selalu monitor the comment box. I'll have my handphone here with me so that I can monitor what's happening in the comment box. Then we will have a good conversation no matter what. Let's just make that our intention, to have a good conversation no matter what. And while waiting for Steven to come and arrive, I just want to remind our new vision and mission untuk teman-teman yang you have been in Bersama community for quite some time. We have revised our mission and vision statement. I think it's becoming sharper about what is our vision and what is our mission. And I'm just so happy that we got this opportunity to just revisit that sehingga this new vision and mission bisa menjadi sesuatu yang juga imprinted in our mind, imprinted in our heart, so that we can do this together in this community. So in Bersama's community, our vision is community of individuals who shine their best authentic self. So our vision really is to form a community, to become a community of individuals with certain characteristics. One characteristic only actually, which is shine their best authentic self. That means whatever that we do, we want to become this kind of person who shine their best authentic self. So our vision is not to be an organization for formal education. It's really about creating a community of individuals who shine their best authentic self. So that's our vision going forward. And I hope this vision also clarifies our positioning, that all of the programs that we offer up is really to help all our community members and beyond to become their best authentic self. And that is actually reflected in our mission statement, which is to support those who are hungry to grow, to nourish their mind, nourish their emotions, so they can evolve towards the best version of themselves. So really, again, all the programs that we are offering is to nourish the mind, nourish the emotions, so that everyone who is participating in the program can evolve towards their best version. So it's not really about equipping professionally. No, we're not going that way. That's not our vision. That's not our mission. It's really about how can we together as a community move in the journey of time, again, to evolve to become the best version of ourselves. So again, I hope this clarify our positioning in the midst of what is happening around us, so that we can focus on that in this community, which is to become the best version of ourselves. So I'm just, again, so happy to have all of you. I know those of you who are here in the community, and those of you who are visiting, I'm assuming you are attracted because we have programs that's touching on this, that helps everyone that's in touch with the program to become the best version of themselves. So welcome again to the channel and welcome to the community. And in this Bersama community, we proclaim ourselves as community of uprisers. And uprisers meaning we are trying to continuously move upwards in the sense of, again, personal evolution. We always refer to Abraham Maslow hierarchy, di mana the highest is actually self-actualization. So that is where we are moving towards. When we say we are community of uprisers, we are moving towards that self-actualization. So again, just so happy to have you. We are here as kindred spirits who journey together so that we can evolve towards the best version of ourselves. So that's our vision, the new one. And hopefully this is something that they can work together. Now, as usual as well, I am going to inform one of our offering that is available for everyone who is interested in this journey of personal evolution. And that is what we call membership in our BTOP platform. BTOP is actually an acronym. BTOP stands for Busur Emas Transformation Online Platform. So it's actually a platform that houses all of our programs. And this specific program that I'm informing is actually a membership program and that platform whereby all of our live talks since 2021, if I'm not mistaken, or is it 2022? No, 2020, I think. Since 2020 is actually there along with its presentation slides in PDF format. So we have lots, like a lot on that platform. So if you're interested in really learning different things to equip yourself to become the best version of yourself, this is something that really going to be a very helpful resource because you have the video, you have the presentation slides, you can use that presentation slides as well. I'm just asking that you give credit that it is, if you use it for a purpose other than your own personal learning, then the ask is only to give credit to the source, which is us. So again, that is available to you. This is something that we created to support you towards a sustainable journey of transformation in that evolution of becoming the best version of ourselves. So that is available. And if you become a member on that platform, not only that you can access all of the live talk recording, including this one, you can also attend our bi-monthly webinars. So every 2 months, we hold a webinar with different topics, a live webinar. And if you are a member on that live talk platform, you can attend all those webinars for free for 1 year because the membership is only for 1 year duration. You can definitely renew your membership. And whenever your membership is active, you can attend the webinar for free. And the webinar is usually held on Monday, second Monday every month at 7:30 to 9 p.m. So the upcoming one is going to be in November, and the topic is Mastering Inner Peace. So that is something that's available for you, again, as a resource, as a support, so that you can have a sustainable transformation journey. And it's always my pleasure to support all our community members to walk on this transformation journey. That's our vision, which is a community of individuals who shine their best authentic self. And that's our mission, the mission of our organization, our community, which is to nurture the mind and nurture the emotion. So if this is something that you think you would like to get more information on, feel free to reach out on different platforms. We have Instagram, we have Facebook. You can DM us, you can direct message us, or you can also reach out to the person in charge. In this case, it's Ibu Cynthia. You will see her contact number on the screen. So feel free to reach out to her if you would like to get more information on this membership program, so that you can decide for yourself, is this something that's going to be helpful and beneficial for you or not? Okay, with that, I am still waiting for Steven, and I'm not so sure what's happening because he actually already communicated with me quite several times and everything was going okay, and except that he's not here now. I hope nothing is happening to him, but in any case, again, we're going to have this conversation no matter what. Okay, so for those of you who are here because Steven, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's happening. We have communicated to and fro for quite a bit. Everything was going so smoothly, and I'm not so sure what's happening to him. Again, I hope nothing bad happens to him. But again, the show must go on, isn't it? No matter what. So anyway, we're going to talk about self-leadership. Self-leadership is something that's a topic that's always close to my heart, because I think unless we can lead ourselves well, it's very hard to lead others well as well. It's not just leadership, actually, it's everything. Like, if we cannot give compassion to ourselves, it's very hard to give compassion to others. If we cannot be patient with ourselves, it's very hard to be patient with others. So everything actually started ourselves. So that's why self-leadership is something that's very important. Whenever we are going to show up in the world and we want to contribute, our contribution will definitely be affected by our ability to lead ourselves. And when we say leading ourselves, it cannot be separated with how aware we are with what's happening in our mind, what's happening in our emotions. Because once we have that awareness, we have the option to make different decisions. But if we do not have that awareness, then we cannot make different decisions. Like, we are being governed by automatic thoughts, automatic patterns of emotions, automatic behaviors, automatic habits. We are always being governed by that until the time that we are aware that, I don't think this pattern is something that I want to continue, and I don't think this is a pattern that is helpful for me in going forward. Until we have that awareness, then we are going to keep doing all the same thing. And to tell the truth, even after we have that awareness, the transformation journey itself is actually not going to be a smooth, linear journey. It's going to be moving forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward. That's just how change journey happens in everyone. It's just a fact. But the journey starts with the self-awareness. By the way, good evening, Bu Esa. Good evening, Bu Inge. Again, for everyone who is here because of Steven, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's happening to Steven. We were actually going to have him with us. I hope nothing bad happens to him. I haven't heard from him, but we have been communicating to and fro, and everything went so well until today. So again, I'm so sorry if I don't know whether Steven can make it or not for today, because I haven't heard from him today. But if he cannot make it, I'm so sorry if you're here for Steven, but I can guarantee that we are still going to have a good conversation. Okay, so for those of you who are already here, and please say hi in the comment. I can acknowledge your presence. And again, if you have any questions about the topic, as I just shared my thoughts and what I know about self-leadership, feel free also to put your question in the comment box. Okay, so again, self-leadership always starts with self-awareness. Self-awareness. It's always start there. So what is the implication that self-leadership starts with self-awareness? The implication is that if we want to lead ourselves better, then there's no option than really to deepen our awareness purposefully. So I'm sure there are occasions whereby we can have awareness because something happens in our situation, someone said something, something happened that we read something, we hear something, which is good. And then when we hear something, we read something, and that is not because we do it purposefully, it's just that we encounter that information, that insight. That's good, all good. But the thing is, those things are those incidences whereby we encounter those insights are actually not going to be regular, right? Because it happens not with planning. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that if we really want to deepen our self-leadership so that we can lead others better as well, then we really need to make some sort of a strategy. Like, there's this saying that just come to my mind, like, if we fail to plan, then we plan to fail. If we fail to plan, then we plan to fail, which means we need to have a plan. We need to have a strategy on how am I going to be intentionally, purposefully, regularly deepen my self-awareness about things regarding myself, definitely, yeah. So that I can have that options to decide differently if it is necessary. So that plan can look different for everyone, and it's okay. Everyone comes with different contexts, different contexts, meaning what they're going through in life, where are they in life, their natural preferences, like different contexts. But one thing for sure, I think it is necessary if we want to deepen our self-leadership is really to have a strategy, have a plan. How am I going to intentionally build or deepen my self-awareness? For me, it looks like I always have a coach with whom I bounce thoughts with so that I can know something about me every time I have that session. And I meet with my coach twice every month. And I've been doing it for years. So that's one of the things that I put in place as a strategy to deepen my self-awareness, because after I am aware, then I have that option to decide differently, then I can create or formulate actions on how am I going to follow up that new awareness. So that is something that I have in place. Another thing is really to be again in a community. Like, our community is meant to be that resource so that we can have a regular stimulation that can deepen our self-awareness. That's why we have this live talk. We have this live talk twice every month to serve as a stimulation for self-awareness. We have also that webinar, Busur Mas Learning webinar, that we have every 2 months to also have, again, deepen self-awareness. So be in a community that really support our transformation journey, because transformation, self-leadership starts with self-awareness. So that is also a strategy. I am, besides leading this community, of course, I am also in different community. Then actually, like, the community that I'm in are all not in the country, and at times I have to really wake up because the time difference is a lot. Yeah, I've just attended a 2 days conference. I mentioned this in our Authentic Life workshop. And that conference that I attended is held in the US. So they start at 9 a.m. US time and finished at 5 p.m. US time, which means it starts at 9 p.m. Indonesia time, finish at 5 a.m. morning Indonesia time. So that means I have to stay awake from 9 to 5. And I gladly do it. I'm not saying it's not hard. It's hard to stay awake, but I do it with a joyful heart because it's something that I know will help me to deepen my self-awareness. It's going to equip me further in my journey. It's again, this either or thinking is something also that I discover is quite prevalent, and it's very good if we can identify that it's either or, that if something is hard, that it's going to be heavy. And I discovered it's actually not that way. Something can be hard yet feels light. It can be hard but light. So that was my experience when I attended that 2-day conference. It was 2 days. So I have to stay awake from 9 in the evening until 5 in the morning for 2 days. Again, it's not easy. It's hard to stay awake, but it feels so light. I enjoy the experience. So again, be in a community that helps your self-awareness, that helps your transformation journey. No one can do this alone, really no one. So it's always good to have a container and people around us to journey together with. So that is something that, in my experience, has been tremendously helpful to really help us walk in the self-leadership journey. Because again, it's self-leadership starts with self-awareness. Now, once we have that self-awareness, again, we have the choice. What am I going to do about this? Awareness, I said awareness is always a good starting point. But awareness in itself does not create transformation. Unfortunately, it does not. Awareness can be a starting point, but what really creates the transformation is action. Unless we take action on what we are aware of, then the awareness will only stay as awareness and it does not change our life. Again, it is a good starting point, but it does not create the transformation. Only action does. Now, when we talk about action and we focused on self-leadership, that means what are the actions that I can do to lead myself better? If like, we can use this metaphor. If we only have one person to lead, external, like someone outside us, someone outside ourselves, one person, how we are going to lead that person to the best of our ability and use that thinking for ourselves. How I can lead myself to the best of my ability, because if I cannot lead myself well, then definitely the level of my self-leadership will be reflected in my ability to lead others. I mentioned earlier, if I am not compassionate with myself, it's very hard that I can give compassion to others. If I'm not understanding about myself, it's very hard to be understanding about others. If I'm not communicating well with myself, it's very hard to communicate well to others. So it's all those things. Now, probably some people will ask, so what does it mean to communicate well with ourselves? How do I communicate with myself? Actually, we are always communicating with ourselves. It's just that sometimes, or often times, we're not aware that we are actually communicating with ourselves. All the thoughts that we have in our mind are words that we communicate to ourselves. all the thoughts that we hold in our mind are words that we communicate to ourselves. So knowing that, the key is to be very mindful on what thoughts do I hold in my mind, because those thoughts are the words that I communicate to myself. And if I want to lead myself well, what do I want to communicate to myself? What thoughts do I want to hold in my mind? Because those are the communication that I have with myself. Do I want to say, oh, Ellen, this is going to be a disaster because for one reason or another, the person who is going to have this talk with me is not showing up? I don't want to talk that way. If I have someone who I'm leading, that I want to tell them, it's okay. Don't worry. We're going to just do this well, no matter what. We're never alone in doing our work. Don't worry. If I have someone that I'm leading, then I want to tell that to that person. And I want to tell that to myself too. Like, no worries, Ellen. All good. It's okay. Like, you're never alone in doing this thing. Like, you always have support. No worries. So those kind of things are the things that we want to tell ourselves, so that we can lead ourselves better. So that if we can lead ourselves better, that ability to lead ourselves will be reflected in the way that we lead others as well. And being mindful about what am I telling myself is something that needs practice in my experience, because a lot of it are actually automatic thoughts. And building our sensitivity, our ability to discern what thoughts am I holding, what are the words I'm telling, again, it takes practice. What kind of practice? One, reflection. That is very, very key. Like, if we do not have time that we dedicate for reflection, very hard to really know what is it that I'm telling myself. Because if we are actually always on the run, always do, and we don't have that time for just stillness, just be still, just be with ourselves, be with the divine. And when we are still, it's just like water, like, water, right? When things are always moving, it's very hard to see through the water. But when the water is still, then it's easier to see through, to see what is beneath. And that's just how our mind works. If there's so many things going on, it's very hard to see what is actually inside. But when it is still, then it's easier. It's easier to just notice what's in my mind actually. What am I telling myself at this point of time? And that is something that I find very helpful to build that muscle of being sensitive, being able to discern what is in my mind, what am I telling myself, what communication am I having with myself. And that's very crucial for self-leadership. And again, self-leadership will be reflected in the way we deal with others, we lead others. Another thing, apart from so actually that reflection time is tied to time of being still, like time that we allow ourselves to just be still, and not just like making it clear, like I used the metaphor of water just now to help us understand how the difference between our mind state when we are on the run, when we are having so many thoughts, and the mind state when we are just being still. Another thing is that when we are regularly disciplining ourselves, I purposefully use the word discipline because it does take discipline to really put that into practice. We are not like, our brain is like especially in this modern society, is not wired for stillness. We are encouraged by our society to just do. And I have nothing against doing. Like I said, if we have awareness and we don't follow up with action, no transformation will happen. So definitely doing action is necessary for transformation. But if in the midst of all that action, we do not have time for stillness regularly, there's a very big chance that our action is not going to take us very far. Or even if we reach our destination, we will not feel fulfilled, we will not feel like joyful, like so rewarded, because it's just another tick mark in the doing action. But if we combine the doing with the stillness, then we have, if I'm taking the analogy of a car, like double engine, like we have double engine to move us forward. And one common distorted thinking that I find regarding stillness is that if we make time for stillness, we may not have enough time for other things. That logic, it seems logic, yes, but that logic actually being founded on the belief that everything is up to me. Like everything is up to me. Like I got no one to support me. I got no support. I have no defined support. Everything is up to me. And to change that, what really needs to shift is our belief that we are actually always supported. Even if we cannot see it yet, there's always support for us. There's always support for us. And if we can really make ourselves rooted, and when I say make ourselves rooted on that belief that we are always supported, that is something that's going to take a lifetime to do, because it's not once and done thing. Like when I believe today, meaning tomorrow I have the same level of intensity of belief. No, it doesn't happen that way. It works more like bathing. Like we need to bathe every day because our body is exposed to different particles as we move towards and we move within our surrounding, and that's how our belief is actually being maintained. Because as we interact with the world, there's so many thinkings, so many concepts that being communicated to us, whether we are aware or not aware. And we need to keep clean our mind. We need to keep clean our mind. So that's why I say it needs to be something that we do intentionally, regularly, purposefully, so that that self-awareness is something that can be maintained. And coming back to that belief, that means really making time daily, like daily, to just deepen that belief that, yes, I'm always supported. I'm not alone in doing whatever that I'm doing, in doing whatever that I'm being called to do. I'm never alone. That there's always support. Even though I cannot see it yet, there's always support. And if we are rooted on that belief, it's make it easier for us to make time for stillness, because we know that stillness is really like the lifeline. That stillness is like our breath. Like we cannot live without breath, right? So likewise, that stillness is really what gives us life. Life, not in the sense of literal life, but life like to live with all fullness, to live with all fullness, it is that stillness that makes the difference. It's not the doing. Because when we go into stillness, that awareness is being awakened. And from that awareness, we have better clarity. And when we have better clarity, we can decide with better clarity what action that I'm going to do. And we can also have better clarity about what am I thinking, what am I feeling, and just process those things so that it does not affect our decision as much in a negative way. So coming back to that notion of following up self-awareness with action, it's really holding that balance that's important. Balance between active action, or why we do all the things that we need to do, that is still necessary, definitely, and that time for stillness, to be still, so that we can maintain our clarity, so that we can show up whenever we are called to show up, in whatever way we are called to show up. And we can show up for unexpected things as well, because we know that we are always supported. And when we talk about having that in place, building that belief that we are always supported, that it's not just depend on me, like I'm always doing this together with the divine. Then when we go into action, we are actually going into action with a deeper level of confidence. Because we know that, again, that support is always available. That's one. And that action is coming from a better clarity of thinking that gives better confidence as well. And if we have that, like I mentioned earlier, someone that we can bounce thought with, for me, it's a coach. For you, it can be a coach, a trusted friend, whoever that you find helpful. If we have that as well, it's going to also deepen the confidence, because we know, oh yeah, this is something that not just me, because again, everyone can have blind spot. I still have blind spot, but up to like the whole time we are on this earth, we will always have blind spot, no matter how much we spend time to work on ourselves. Because if we do not have blind spot, that means we're perfect, and we're never going to be perfect. So yes, we're still going to have blind spots. So having that opportunity to talk through our thoughts, our emotions with someone, that also gives us more confidence, because we know that we are not operating from blind spots, at least with less possibility of operating from blind spots. Now, having that support system and having that being built into our ability to have that confidence, that enables us to move forward in a more and more powerful way, I would say. In a more and more powerful way, and in a more inspiring way, because we're not doing it ourselves, we're doing it together. We are co-creating, actually. I like this word so much, co-creating. We are co-creating the action. We're not just creating it ourselves, but we are co-creating the action, and we are doing it together. That's why it's becoming more powerful. That's why it's becoming more inspiring. And when we show up that way in the world, we can actually have more impact. We can actually have more impact towards the people. Now, when I say more impact, we need to be careful about either or thinking again. So because this either or thinking is very prevalent. Impact is often, most of the time, impact will be felt positively, yes. But there are times, happy or not, like it or not, where our impact is actually felt negative. Felt negative to someone who is receiving that. And that's okay. Like, that is okay. As long as coming back to the previous, we come from clarity. We know with clarity that yes, there is a possibility that our impact may be felt negatively, maybe received negatively by some people. And again, if we have someone to talk through that, even better, to know that we're not operating from blind spot. But if that is something that we take consciously, we decide consciously that we're still going to move forward with this action, knowing that for some people it will have positive impact, but probably some people it will have negative impact. Again, that's okay. We cannot please everyone. We cannot please everyone. And if we feel guilt because this kind of incidents happen, that's one affirmation statement that I find very helpful. That affirmation statement goes this: I forgive myself for not being able to be everything to everyone. I forgive myself for not being able to be everything to everyone. And that statement, at least in my experience, is so powerful, because that gives the allowance for me to show up just as me, authentically, like Ellen, with all her strengths and limitations, and knowing that I may not please everyone. And actually I cannot, not just may not, I cannot please everyone. And it's okay. And I forgive myself for that. So forgiveness work is something that we also need to do regularly for ourselves. Like I mentioned earlier, self-leadership is really about to lead ourselves just like we want to lead others. But first do it for ourselves. And if we want to be able to forgive others, it's very important for us to also be able to forgive ourselves. If our ability to forgive ourselves is hindered, then our ability to forgive others will be hindered as well. So it's really like leadership is a lot of it, leadership for others, a lot of it is actually a reflection on how we lead ourselves. So it's really the work on ourselves that matters a lot if we want to strengthen, deepen our leadership work. By the way, just a reminder, if you have any questions on whatever that I've just mentioned earlier, feel free to just put it in the comment box. I'll be checking the comment box every now and then so that I can respond to your questions. And those of you, again, who, if you just arrived here and you're here because of Steven, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening to Steven. We were supposed to have him with us. I'm still posting even today because yesterday we were still communicating and everything was okay. So hopefully nothing bad happened to him, but as committed, we are going to have this conversation. And again, if you have any question, feel free to just put it in the comment box. So coming back to that, our impact as we lead can be felt negative at times. And if that has been thought through, not just with us, as more ideally with someone else, and that is something that is not taken emotionally or impulsively, or action that's done emotionally, or action that is done impulsively, it's okay. Really give ourselves the permission to live with our limitation and to forgive ourselves and to just show up in a way that is authentic, in a way that we are being called to, in a way that we have committed ourselves to. Like this talk would be a perfect example. Probably some of you will be disappointed because Stephen is not here, which I have no control over. But what I need to make sure is I take care of my side of responsibility. Like I take care of my side of responsibility. My responsibility is to show up, and I'm going to take care of my responsibility no matter what. I may be limited in delivering my responsibility because this unexpected thing, but that does not mean I back off from my responsibility. Of course, there's going to be probably disappointment of some people, things that I cannot control. And that's okay. I forgive myself. So that is something I think a work that needs to be done on a regular basis. We never know what life throws at us. And it's all good. Like, it's all good. I always believe, and this is another belief that's very good to just build in ourselves, that things happen for me, not to me. Things happen for me. Like, everything happened for me, not to me. And when we strengthen regularly that belief, we can show up for whatever unexpected things. Because we know no matter what happens, it happens for me, not to me. And there's something in that happening that is good for me, even if I don't know yet what it is. Like, I don't need to know at this point of time. I just need to believe that it is going to be good for me. So there are a lot of beliefs that we need to put it into our mind, because those beliefs are the words that we say to ourselves. And if we want to lead ourselves well, just like we want to lead others well, we need to be mindful of what we are saying to other people. We need to be mindful about what we are saying to ourselves. And what we are saying to ourselves are all the things that we put in our mind, all the thinking that we have in our mind. So be mindful of that when we journey through life. And by building that stillness time, we're getting clarity. And in my experience, that stillness time is also the best time to strengthen the belief that we want to put in our mind. Of course, there are like different time that we can use it, but really the best time is stillness, because stillness is the time when our brain usually goes to alpha, and alpha is really the best brain state to put in beliefs. Like, it goes deeper and faster. So again, that stillness belief is also very good if we use it for building beliefs. And how do we build beliefs? By saying words. Again, all come back to words. Affirmations, things that we want our mind to believe. Keep saying it over and over again during that stillness time. That's very helpful in my experience. And it's good to just have a list. You can create that list manually, like I have mine on my phone, to have that belief listed so that I can go over it. Because again, building beliefs is, especially when we are still in the building stage, it's not once and done. When we are still in the building stage, we need to do it regularly so that it really becomes an automatic belief. So going through that list, I find it helpful, because I might find, I haven't really think about that affirmation recently. And that can serve as a stimulation, a trigger to check in with myself. Do I still believe that? How does my action, my words reflect my belief on that? Because there is a difference between what I think I believe with what I truly believe. What I truly believe is reflected on my words, is reflected on my mind, reflected on my action, tetap. But what I think I believe, it's actually just a thought that I think I believe. So that reflection time is a good time to check in as well. Do I really believe what I think I believe? So self-leadership is very key. The very key element to self-leadership is really that stillness time. In my experience, to have clarity about our thinking, to have clarity about our emotions, to have clarity, is there things that I need to process in my heart, to have clarity about what I want to believe going forward, to have clarity about what actions do I want to take going forward. So all those things spurs from that stillness time. And as we have that clarity, it makes it easier in my experience to understand others better. Even though there are probably going to be difficult times, there's always, like life is never going to be perfect. There are always going to be difficult times, and it's okay. Like everything happens for me. When we are in difficult time, it's good to have also realistic expectation that when our emotion is intense, our mind may not be so clear. To just allow ourselves to have emotions, and at the same time, while allowing ourselves to have emotions, to also make effort to process that emotion, to understand that emotion. That is also very key to self-leadership. Like, what emotion it's really like I'm holding inside. Usually, if the emotion is not very clear, we just know we feel upset. Like we feel upset, we are angry, we are sad. It's like those umbrella terms. But it's good and helpful to go into specific, like, what is it really that makes me upset? What is it really that makes me angry? Because once we know that root, that trigger, then it's easier to deal with it. And oftentimes, when we know what feelings that we are actually felt, it helps us to make connection. It helps us to understand it better just by knowing, oh, actually, I'm feeling this way. There are things that we experience in childhood that we carry into adulthood. Like everyone have that. I have that. You have that. Everyone have that. And when something happened and triggered that luggage that we carry still from childhood, and again, it's going to be there until we are called home. It's not going to, like, it can be lessened, yes, but it's never going to be totally disappear. So when something happened that triggered that luggage that we carry from our childhood, we may not immediately aware that actually it is triggering something that we carry from our childhood. We just felt all the negative emotions. Again, if we are making time for stillness, and from that stillness or from a conversation with someone that we trust, we are coming to awareness, oh, actually, this is a feeling of abandonment, for example. Then, if we know that actually there are some abandonment issue in the past, then we know this is actually old stuff. Like that person may not actually abandon me, but the action actually triggering an emotion of abandonment. And that emotion of abandonment is actually a childhood luggage that the person action, current action is triggering. And having that awareness is actually very helpful because we know, oh, this is old stuff that's emerging. Then it's easier for us to interact with that person on a better terms because we know it's not something that fully because of that person. It is something that is within us that's being triggered. So that usually only happens in that time when we're not in that doing mode. So that's why I say, if we want to lead ourselves well, stillness time is very key. And ideally, if we can add to that a regular time whereby we have a trusted partner, a coach, a friend, whoever that we can bounce thoughts with, it's going to be even more ideal. Then we can continuously sharpen our awareness. We can, from that awareness, we know how we need to follow up on ourselves and in our interaction with other people. Then it helps us to lead other people better. So that is something that I've discovered in my journey so far about self-leadership. So I hope this has been helpful for you. All these things are impromptu because I was actually being prepared to have a conversation with Stephen. And let's send our best wishes for Stephen. Hope he's okay. And again, hope this one way or another helpful for you. And I'm just going to look forward to have you again in our next conversation. Our next conversation is going to happen on the 5th of November. We are going to talk about the lifelong learning revolution, because lifelong learning is something that we have in our vision and mission, and it's good to just unpack that and to see the revolution that takes place about lifelong learning. So if you are keen on having a discussion on that topic, join me on 5th November. At that time, I'm going to be alone, right? Delivering the talk alone. So you'll have slides, all those things, unlike this impromptu talk. So yeah, look forward to have you then. And also, if you are keen on really working on your evolution, lead yourself better, creating better self-awareness and processing yourself further, I definitely feel that our Live Talk membership on BTalk platform is a great resource that you can access. Okay, let me see. There's this question. What is the most dangerous self-leadership traps through your experience? Okay, good question. Thank you, Margaret. So traps. Usually, those traps are traps that we are not aware of. It's there. Like we're not, because just logically, if we are aware there is trap, we're going to move away, right? But if we are not aware that there is a trap there, then we might like just go into the trap. So really, the trap is in not being aware. That's like the biggest trap. And once we are aware, we can like literally bring ourselves out of that trap. Even though if we are already go into the trap, once we are aware, we can bring ourselves out. There's the creator who created us has created us to be so amazing. That awareness is truly a power that we can harness and capitalize on. Like there's this sentence, we can do anything, really we can do anything, but not everything. So there's a difference. We can do anything, but not everything. Yeah. So once we are aware that, oh, I'm actually in this trap, I'm in the middle of this thing that I don't want to be in, we can take some actions to get ourselves out of that trap. But like nothing is unchangeable about ourselves. When I say about our inner self, nothing is unchangeable. So once we have that awareness, again, we can do things that can make us go out of that trap. Now, how to avoid that trap? Again, coming back to how much do I make time for being clear with myself, being clear about my thinking, being clear about my emotion, being clear about my responses to myself, my responses to people, just being clear about myself. Having that time to just deepen all this awareness is really helpful for us to avoid trap and help us also to get out of the trap if we are already in. Because again, if we already know that it is trap, we can avoid it or we can bring ourselves out of it. But if we're not aware that there's a trap or we are already in that trap, we're going to be continuing that trap. So self-awareness is really something that in my experience, very helpful. And it just amazes me on how much that our creator has equipped us with power to change our life once we are aware and follow up with action. So I hope that helped to answer the question. So thank you so much for everyone who are here on this channel with me and just having this conversation about self-leadership. Again, I hope this has been helpful for you. And I look forward to having you again in our next conversation in 5th of November about lifelong learning. And again, if you are interested to know more about this Live Talk membership that we have on our BTalk platform, whereby you can access like a vault of topics available to you along with the presentation slides, feel free to reach out to us. You can direct message us on social media, or you can reach out to our admin who handles that, which is Cynthia. I think you will be able to see in the screen later on her contact number, so that you can get information and you can decide for yourself whether it is something that you feel it's going to be helpful for you or not. So thank you so much again for everyone. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for having this conversation with me. Looking forward to having you again. Good evening.